Every little last song, every little last stroke that dies away, he can never grow old.
Absolutely, yeah. To be really truthful, my only concern was that the time the tour came along, it was already going to be too big for it. But luckily, it's not happened at the moment. But yeah, as soon as I heard it, I emailed Eddie before I even finished listening to the album. And said, thank you for sending it. And I totally get what you meant, and I understand it. And I think Eddie might have said to me, to me about the tours coming up, and it's just perfect, absolutely perfect. So I already we've done 3 shows so far, and the crowds have been loving them. And all the feedback we've been getting has been so positive, which is very difficult to be honest, because a lot of people are not kind, almost as some kind of weird sort of badge of loyalty. They will not like a support band because they feel it's kind of letting you down somehow, and it's really stupid, but it does happen. And yet we've had none of that either. It's been really, really positive. So I'm glad. I want it to be a good experience for everybody, for the band and for my fans and so on. So at the moment, it's working out very, very well. I'm just really disappointed they're not coming to Dublin with us. That would have been great. Yeah. Very slight gap, and then get back to it and we came back to England.
Every little last song, every brittle wash clothes walks away, we could never grow old.
I don't know what to say, but I don't actually follow it, so I don't even know who's considered electronic. It seems to have become such a part of mainstream. I don't really think of myself as an electronic act. Because there's guitars and bass and drums and God knows, all sorts of things going on. It's just become a part of music in general, and I think that's probably a healthier thing for it. We mustn't. I don't like to see it as a separate kind of music. I like to see it absorbed into music in general, and people accepting of these amazing sounds and so on coming out of it, out of things that aren't just guitar, bass and drums, but it all works well together right from the beginning. My first big single was called Our Friends Electric. It did really well. It had guitars in it, and drums in it, and bass in it. It had everything on it. So I've never really been a big champion of electronic music in general. I kind of use bits of it to do what I want to do with. I don't like all the labeling something. So from my point of view, I actually don't know what state the electronic music scene is in. I hope it's healthy, but I actually don't know at all. I hear things that it's having a resurgence, which surprises me because I never knew it even went away in the first place. I don't really take much notice of it, but it would be nice if music in general was healthy.
I would absolutely kind of echo Gary's sentiments there with that, and I think as a band, definitely me and Matthew, our kind of the things that we listen to, we really hate the kind of pigeonholing of any kind of music. Really, if it sounds good, we'll listen to it. If we're influenced by it, we'll use it. And I think, especially with the album and the stuff that we're writing at the moment, it is all down to experimentation. That's kind of what it's always been about from us. I remember getting a guitar, and for me, it was more about how I could make that guitar sound not like a guitar, rather than playing 4 chords and learning the usual kind of things that you're supposed to learn or you get taught to play when you do music at school or something. That's not what it was about for me, and there are things that I'm definitely kind of listening to, bands like Alarm, ACAB, and a guy from Scotland actually called Akira Katesh, which has got electronic elements in there. Yet I know from kind of speaking to him that his influences and outlook is kind of the same as ours. I wouldn't say, he got that electronic record by Akira Katesh or whatever. It's just music to me.
I think the whole ethos behind our record was a man playing like a machine and a machine playing like a man. And the idea was that, just because you're using machines, it doesn't need to be cold, or it doesn't need to have emotion in it. And certainly that's something that I think, Gary's music is very emotive, our music, and that's what we try to echo in our music. In that, in my head, if I hear a sound, it doesn't matter if it's being played by a synthesizer or a guitar. It's just how you find that sound however you can. Be it a synthesizer through a synthesizer through a guitar pedal, or a guitar through a synthesizer, which we use a lot on our record. We put a lot of James guitar through. I have a Dave Smith Evolver synthesizer, which makes everything sound like it should directly from hell, which is exactly the kind of thing that we're after. So in terms of electronic music, I think the boundaries have all dropped, and obviously dubstep is very prominent, and I love some dubstep. I love Milanese record from about 8 years ago called Extend, and I still can't believe some of the sounds that have been created on that record.
Especially when you look at some of the ways which they're doing things now, using these kind of tracker kind of programs and stuff. It's all code, and you're doing it kind of. It's amazing, but it's all trial and error, and it's something which we've started doing on the books, kind of using our iPad to kind of do whatever we can, whatever
I think it's very healthy for music.
Yeah.
The technology's there for a lot of people to create music, which obviously does create a lot of bad music, but at the same time, it makes it a very creative industry, and like Gary was saying, music is what our concern is at the industry we would like to be involved in. So we want that to be healthy, be it electronic, be it rock, anything. As long as music industry is healthy, that's really all that we're really that fussed about, really.
So I can't stay here.